Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Kansas City Scientology Audit. I'm Casey Cat, and so glad that you're here. I am not streaming from the location I would normally stream from. I have what's called CRPS, and just having a little flare tonight, so I just thought I'd go ahead and do it right from my bed with my laptop in my lap. Let's all get comfy. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a granny. I'm a coffin dodger. I'm a granny of 5. Was born and raised in the Chicago area. Hi, Shannon. And moved to Kansas City when I was starting college. I have been a very long time child advocate in Kansas City, working both on the Kansas and the Missouri side with educators and legislators and media to bring about change in the education system, the programs that are offered, and kids who have been neglected, abused, just a whole gamut of child involved activities. Um, I worked in the medical field for most of my life and I retired last year. And I'm a good girl. I think there's a lot of us out there. It's kind of an epidemic of good girls. I started seeing all the kids that were out there doing all of this great work. Oh, by the way, squirrel ears. It's not my hair, it's squirrel ears. I started seeing all these kids out there doing all of this hard work and thought, gosh, where's the adults? Outside of streets, where's the adults? So then I started seeing what I kind of call the granny group stepping in, and I consider myself one of them. Some of us that are a little older, some retired, um, but I start seeing the adults stepping up, both men and women. And I thought, gosh, I need to do something. I didn't even realize that we had a Scientology in Kansas City until all of this came up. And I started watching Streets a while back when he first started having his run ins with Scientology and he told him he'd end them. I started Googling and thought, holy moly, there is one in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. I do live on the Kansas side, but I live right near the border. So I went downtown and kind of scoped out where it was, and it's actually where I spend a lot of time. Just never noticed that there was a giant neon Scientology sign on the top of the building. So I thought, I need to do something. I can't sit and watch every night everyone else going out there and seeing what they put on the line to do it. Like Danny, uh, like like Streets getting punched in the face. Confident Chris without a Hellcat, my girl Jessica Palmadessa, um, Tao. There's so many more. Laura FM. You guys know who they all are. They're just so good. And I thought I need to kind of do my part. So my thought wasn't to start it. Sorry if I'm moving the camera. It's sitting on my lap. I don't know if you can see. There's Elron for his birthday. Oops, wrong way. My little alien. I wasn't going to start a channel. Sorry. I wasn't going to start a channel. I was just going to go down there. And then someone reached out to me and said, "No, really, you should start a channel. We don't have anybody in Kansas City." So I kind of started asking around about how to go about it and said, "Okay, maybe I'll do that. I'm going to suck at it, but I'll give it my best shot." So then someone reached out to me and said, "Reese is there." And I watch Relatable Reese religiously. And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "You should reach out to her." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "I'd love to meet up with you sometime." Okay. I didn't know who the person was. And hi, Ellie. And I didn't know if it, Jen, wow, how you doing, girl? I didn't know, is this somebody I should trust? I had no idea who it was. Is this a plan? Because I said on a number of channels, I'm going to start a channel. So I just wasn't sure. Finally, I decided I'd meet up with her. And we went down at a rooftop cafe, overlooks the Scientology building. And we had a very long and very interesting chat. She's been on the inside, kind of undercover. She was inside a number of times and had some very interesting conversations with some of the people that work there. She shared with me that information, and I was a little surprised. I'm hoping she's going to start her own channel here pretty soon. I would give you her channel name, but because she has one set up with nothing on it, but she said she doesn't want to do that yet. So for now, I'm not going to put her info out there yet. And so as we go along, I'll kind of share some of that information both tonight and on a later video. But I thought I'd give you some information about how the org in Kansas City started, mostly because it has very deep ties to L. Ron Hubbard. Deep ties to L. Ron Hubbard. And who knew Kansas City? They're not rabbit ears, Ellie. They're actually squirrel ears. They haven't been shaped very well, so I kind of need to mess with them. Let's see. Is that better? No. Anyway, so the Ideal Org in Kansas City opened on November 2nd. Little Captain Davy of the fake Space Navy came to Kansas City for the grand opening, and they are located downtown at 1805 Grand, which is at the corner of 18th and Grand in the beautiful Crossroads Arts District. Right nearby is the Power and Light District, which is filled with nightclubs and has a large open space with a big screen. People go down there and watch sports. It's filled with kids and young adults. I mean, there's some adults in there too, but there's a lot of kids and young adults. Um, the building is gorgeous. It's really gorgeous, and it has kind of two towers on it. Um, and Mexican long hair, good to see you. Um, it was built in the American Boat Arch architectural style in 1926 and is on the National Registry of Historic Places. It um, it's 79,000 square feet, and it was bought at the time when L. Ron Hubbard, no, David Miscavige at that point had put out that edict that everyone needed to buy a building, needed to be a minimum of 50,000 square feet. They had to purchase the building, and so the members had to raise the funds to buy the building. And then they were also supposed to renovate it, but it was taking so long for everyone to raise the funds to buy the buildings and then raise the funds to renovate them that the church said that the cult said that they would do the refurbishing of the buildings. So it has this beautiful entry, and the entry itself is 2 stories high. There's a desk sitting in the center. There's a fountain, a big round tile fountain just inside the front doors. And then there is cubicles or tables and spaces, lots of Dianetics books on one side. The building used to be a bank. Um, when they bought it, it still has 2 vaults in it. Um, the Also on the main floor, if you're facing the front doors, on the right is L. Ron Hubbard's office. Every ideal org has to have an L. Ron Hubbard office. Who knew? This office, before they started closing everything up, we could see inside, and it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. I'm sure it was like the bank manager's office or something. It's all wood. It looks like walnut. Has this beautiful giant desk in there. There's all kinds of fancy decorations, and I mean, it was gorgeous. Um, so when I was talking about the history, LRH and his family moved to Kansas City in 1911, the year he was born. Who knew? Oh, sorry, I have a tornado watch going off. Um, they lived here for a number of years, and in 1950, Hubbard started doing lectures in the Kansas City area on Dianetics. Then I believe they moved to, I don't know if it was Clearwater or LA. In 1974, Scientology opened the Church of Scientology mission and it's a few miles from where the location is now in Kansas City. And from 1974 to 2007, they raised the funds to buy the new building. And from 2007 to 2019, the building was being refurbished. You can see that time span trying to get these orgs, these buildings for these ideal orgs, built and then bought and then refurbished. It takes forever. They are a Class 5 org, and according to the Kansas City Star, the local newspaper, they were warmly welcomed by politicians, including the mayor pro tem and lots of city council members. The Kansas City Star article from the day of the grand opening of the org was not all that favorable. Um, they they were already mentioning odd activities that the Church of Scientology took care of. So, again, according to my friend that went inside, she said that two of the members that she spoke with told her they have 200 on staff and have 600 on course. And on staff, I mean staff and Sea Org. And 600 on course. I'm telling you, hard no. Nope, 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 nope. We never even saw a public go in there. We saw maybe 10 or 12 people go in and 10 or 12 people go out during shift change at 6 o'clock. They later clarified to her that by 600 on course, they evidently have a lot of people on course online. I didn't even know you can take courses online. And how do they get audited? By the way, can you guys hear me and everything? Fluffer Squirrel, how are you, love? Um, like I said, we saw very few people going in and out, and we never saw a public go in. They also told her something that I think's really interesting. The staff doesn't audit. They don't do audits on the staff. The staff is only for, the audits are only for paying customers. They intimated that they only have 2 auditors, although in their description online, they claim that they have 20 well appointed auditing rooms, which they call spiritual counseling rooms. Of course, they do. Hi, Susan. Thanks for coming. Hey, Portland, what's up? Hey, Mike, how are you? Isn't that odd that the staff doesn't do auditing because they only have 2 auditors and they save that for paying customers, paying public? Just weird. Also, the staff that likes the actual staff that wear the white shirts and the black vests, that the ones who, at least the ladies, who are working during the daytime, they kind of see their job as an office job, just like you go to your work and go to your office. They kind of see their job as an office job. So they weren't really bought in to the whole culty thing. And that was also interesting. I'm curious if they're on course, because that's an odd thing to say. Um, of course, they have a number of Sea Org members out in the hallway smoking. Um, I'm hoping I'm not missing anybody. Hi, Susan. Um, the org's open from 9 to 10, Monday through Friday, and then 9 to 6 on the weekends. The day staff is there 9 to 6, and then the foundation staff comes in and works 6 to 10. But Sea Org members, they work a lot later. I'm trying to check my notes to see what else. So it looks like, as far as their body routing, of course, the Power and Light District is nearby, and I said that's the huge entertainment district in Kansas City, and they have First Fridays on the first Friday of the month, and evidently Scientology has a First Friday. And I'm going to check and see which Friday they're scheduled for, so I can go down there. But they hand out pamphlets and flyers to all the people at Power and Light. The Sprint Center, which is where all the big concerts, a lot of athletic stuff, basketball games and stuff go on. They, I'm told they are at every Sprint Center activity, handing out flyers. I bet that they were hitting the Comic Con, because we had Comic Con the weekend that last weekend when I was there. I bet they were hitting Comic Con hard because, of course, that's filled with lots of young people. I didn't see any flyers laying around on the ground or anything. They also body route at the Country Club Plaza. It's a historic plaza in Kansas City. It's beautiful. It's famous for its Christmas lights that are turned on Thanksgiving night, and people around the world watch it online. There's a big concert and all kinds of stuff that goes on Thanksgiving night. They body route down there a lot. They also body route at the River Market. And let's see. Of course, we are the Super Bowl champions, and go Chiefs. And they were live streaming the Super Bowl game on the big screen at Power and Light, and I was told that they were down there during the Super Bowl game handing out lots of flyers. There were thousands of people down there. I'm still doing more research to. Hey, have a good one, Mexican long hair. I am still doing more research on the tentacles of Scientology, but they're spread pretty far in Kansas City. They are involved with the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. They're partnered with them on drug education programs that they call the Truth About Drugs. And of course, we know that lots of times that involves their talk about psychiatric drugs and all that, but I don't know if they're doing that with the kids. They have an Narcanon here, and another interesting thing on their website. And of course, there's no telling if it's true because God knows they don't know how to tell the truth. But they say that they're partnered with a lot of local Christian churches where they offer. I'm going to fight to keep a straight face. I will. They offer human rights education courses through Christian churches. Human rights education. Think about that for a minute. It's stunning. Um, God, that almost makes me sick. They also offer the Way to Happiness courses to local Christian churches. They have an adult program and a youth program, which they call character building programs. They have their Scientology volunteer ministry. And in Kansas City, they just say that that is their program to aid for natural disasters. They're involved with a number of inner city youth programs, including the Ride for Life. They're reaching out to young people on lots and lots of levels. Kansas City has been battling lately with crime. It's been going on for a while. Drugs and gang activity. You may have heard at our big Super Bowl parade and celebration, there was a terrible, terrible tragedy. Um, some kids and some adults from two separate gangs got into it. They started shooting at each other. This was after the parade was over, they go to Union Station, our beautiful historic train station, and they set up a huge stage out in front of Union Station. The chiefs are all up there. Travis Kelsey is always yelling, "You have to fight for your right to party." And everybody was doing speeches and stuff. Right at the end of it, as the chiefs walked off that stage and into Union Station and people were leaving, these two gangs got into it. They started shooting at each other with thousands, 100,000 people there. And a lady from the town where I live was killed. A bunch of people were shot. I think maybe 6 people were shot. Um, most of them kids. Children's Mercy Hospital was inundated with gunshot victims. And there are a lot of grassroots efforts to reach out to the teens, to reach out to the kids. And it looks like Scientology has gotten their tentacles in there. And so they're working with inner city youth, working with organizations, and some grassroots mom started groups to fight against the crime here. And hey, Chris, thanks for coming. Confident Chris is here. Um, and so that's worrisome because we have we have a lot of poor in Kansas City, a lot of single families, um, and a lot of immigrants, especially the Hispanic community. And of course, Scientology offers educational resource um, educational resources where they do tutoring, they do ESL, and Chris, like you saw when you were in LA, um, and so we have a huge area of non and little English speaking um, Hispanic families and great Mexican restaurants. Um, and they when they get involved with those families, um, some of them not here legally, Scientology is famous for telling them that they have lawyers that can help them get their visas. And so that's worrisome too. So I'm gonna look into what's what's happening, where they're involved with. Like I said at the beginning, if you didn't catch it, I've been a child advocate in Kansas City for a long time. So I'll reach out to people and let them know. Um, and of course, when you have all these outreaches, they're fighting for money, and Scientology probably offers them that money. And that is really, really worrisome. Um, I know that we're going to have some more people going out there. Someone went out today, and for the life of me, I cannot. Oh, wait, I'll tell you who it is so you can follow her channel. Hold on. At Gypsy, Gypsy, Mimi, Mimi, Scientology Audit. So that's at Gypsy Mimi Scientology Audit. She was there today and she put up a couple of videos. She was out there with I think her husband. Um, and then I know that Relatable Reese is planning on going out there um, fairly quickly. And let's see. Give me just a second because I want to make sure that Mima's life is is going to come from Nebraska, and she's going to be out there with us. I'm going to check and see if I can find out when the LRH celebration is. I know some are the 26th, some are the 30th. He's doing that taping this weekend, um, late. So there's um, there's a delay, and then that everybody's finding out who won the birthday game. I can tell you who it is. It's Natalie. It's Natalie Webster. She won the birthday game. So if they say somebody else, they're wrong. Um, Sorry, I'm making sure that. Oh, out, and I totally forgot who was out there with me when I went out the other day, auditing Scientology. Um, at Auditing Scientology, he is he's a YouTuber, and he went out with me. He had been down there a couple of times before, so I'm hoping that when I reach out to my child advocate friends, that maybe we'll get a group down there too. And um, there's a couple other channels who've reached out, or creators who've reached out and are talking about coming through. So I'm hoping. I'm not going to be out there every day. If you didn't see at the beginning, I don't know if anyone followed the Take Care of Maya trial about a young girl who was abused at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. And her mother was arrested. No, okay, I may be saying it wrong if she was arrested or not, but they took they took Maya away. CPS got involved. The hospital has a scam thing going, and they got CPS involved, and they ended up um, taking away her mother's rights to see her because they said it was Munchausen by proxy. What Maya has is CRPS, chronic regional pain syndrome. Back in the day, I have the same disease that Maya has. Back in the day when I was diagnosed, it was called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And so I go through long periods where I do great, and then I go through flares. And some of the flares put me in the hospital. Um, but most of the time, I mean, I haven't had a hospital stay in years now. Most of the time, it's managed with medication and physical therapy. So I'm not going to be down there every day, although I want to start going down there more and more. But in the meantime, I want to start doing research on what they, what Kansas, or what the church in Kansas City has gotten involved in, because then I want to reach out to those people, those organizations, and say, WTH, we don't want them where they can get involved with kids in our community, especially struggling kids with these youth groups. Um, I also want to start getting people involved in emailing and letter writing from our local area to look at the tax exempt status. Um, Scientology still owns the mission that they first opened up in Kansas City, and it's at 39th and Main. And my little insider did some research and said that it is zoned as part residential, half business. And I'm going to drive there and look and see what the half business is. Is that maybe where they have the lawyer, where they're doing immigration stuff? is it leased out to someone else to do business? The other half was birthing. I'm not sure if they're still using it for that or not. The gals that my little insider talked to said that they lived nearby within walking distance. So that wouldn't be 39th and Main. But if they still have that building and they have part of it leased out to anyone, it shouldn't be tax exempt at all. So I'm I'm going to do a lot of deep dives and bring that to you. And then of course some fun down there. Um, I still have to get my phone set up for actual live streaming. It was only letting me do shorts when I was there. But if anybody has any questions, I'm happy um, to answer any questions. I'm hoping everyone had a special beverage. As Aaron was saying tonight, some toilet wine to celebrate both LRH's birthday. He would have been 113 today, or is in at the other planet where he went to when he dropped his body. Um, and of course, the R word, Danny Masterson, both of their birthdays. What a day, I'm telling you. Um, so again, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I'm gonna kind of cut it short. Hey, Excalibur, how are you? Good to see you. Z News, how are you? Um, I I'm very interested in. Hold on, just a second. Um, I'm I'm very interested in seeing what kind of gang. I mean, people are reaching out to me, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Everybody kind of handles it their own way. Um, I'm not a confrontational person, or I try not to be, but I have red hair. I'm sorry. There's there's things that come with that red hair. Um, and so if they come at me, it's it's going to be difficult to maybe not say some bad words. Thanks, Excalibur. They are squirrel ears, and they look a little crooked, don't they? They do look crooked. How did I get so crooked? Okay, let's see if we can get them straightened up this way. The camera's opposite, so well, they're a little better. When we went, when Auditing Scientology and I went, there was really, we were just looking in the windows, kind of scoped the place out, and it was pretty quiet. Then a little man came out with jet black dyed hair. Jet black. I mean, so black. Black like my shirt. in glasses, and he asked us if we were going to continue filming, and we went, "Yepers, we are," but we were real polite. And he said, "Well, then I guess we'll have to take measures." It's like, okay, thanks for sharing. So within 10 minutes of us being there, blind tech was deployed. And he was polite but very stern. He was unhappy. It was very clear. Um, then there was several ladies who came out, and they were pleasant, smiled, walked by. Then something really weird happened. There was a little man who looked like a Christmas elf. He had white hair. He had on a black vest and white shirt. He had on a black kind of ball cap. And he had a backpack on his back, and it looked like he was walking away, maybe going to his car. We saw several of them come in cars. Some came on bikes. Some were walking. But he was walking out the door. He walked past. He got almost to the corner of 18th and Grand and turned around and came back. And Auditing Scientology and I were just chatting. And he came up and stood facing the two of us with a smile on his face. And he looked like a little Christmas elf. So finally, it was awkward. So I started talking about the weather because that's what people do. "Oh, isn't this a lovely day out here? It's sunny. There's a nice breeze," which actually picked up pretty strong a little later. It was very warm out. We were in shirt sleeves, and he he made a couple of comments about the weather too, and then I ran out of weather stuff to say, and he just stood there staring. We stood there, kind of looking at each other. And then he turned around and walked back in to the building. It's like, oh, that was odd. And then we waited until shift change when Foundation was coming in to take over for staff. And people passed by. They didn't say anything. They came out and they went directly across the street to walk over to the parking lot. They went out of their way not to come by us. And then the little salty guy came out again. Mike and I were actually Auditing Scientology, and I were actually walking away, and we went across the street and were kitty corner from the Scientology building, and the salty guy came out, quick stepping it up the sidewalk, across the street, across 18th Street, and then said, "This is private property." It's like, "Pardon me?" He said, "This is private property." And it's like, "No, this is a public sidewalk." And he said, "This is," and pointed to the parking lot next to the sidewalk. And it's like, okay, thanks for sharing. What is it that you want? And he said, "It's private property and you cannot go in there." Okay, gotcha. We weren't going in there. And he stood there and glared at us. And then he walked away, again, quick stepping it, walked back over and stood on the corner um, by the corner of the building. I was really stupid, and yeah, sorry, auditing Scientology. I was really stupid and parked pretty close to the building. I was about, I don't know, 8 parking meters down, not thinking about it. And so he stood there on the corner, and I didn't want to walk and get in my car. And Auditing Scientology was walking me to my car and then going on to his car. And I said, well, I'm just going to walk with you a little bit. And um, I walked up the street, and and Auditing Scientology said, they got cameras on the building. They've already got your car. And it's like, well, dang it. So I walked back to my car and got in, and there's old salty dude standing on the corner with his phone up to take a picture of my car. And now where the cult building is, it's a pretty busy area down there. Like I said, um, the Power and Light Entertainment District is right nearby. Um, the Arts District is right nearby. They're actually in on the very edge of the Arts District, and so there's a lot of cars. But when I got in my car, there was no cars coming up Grand Avenue. None. Grand Avenue is big. It's where the St. Patrick's Parade goes down, the Super Bowl parades go down. Um, it's it's a popular, busy street. There was no cars, so I just did a massive U-turn on Grand Avenue and floored it. And he had his phone out, was trying to get a picture of my license plate. There was no way that he got my license plate, um, the way that I went around. And a truck came up from a side street and turned behind me. So there's no way he got it, but clearly they are not happy we're there. I mean, he made it very, very clear. Now, I will say that my friend who was inside said they were very friendly. And so, as long as they're friendly, I don't intend on being confrontational, but I certainly will ask questions. I will give out information. In fact, I actually plan to print um, some aftermath information for them, although that will stop when Aaron gets his foundation up and going. Then I'll be handing out information, and I'll be encouraging people to leave. The best way to do that is to ask the questions and make them think, as far as I can um, fathom in my brain. Make them think. Ask them about the kind of money that they're spending. Ask them about everything being so secret. Um, Tell them about Xenu, the galactic overlord. Um, Educate them because they're victims too. And attacking, that only comes when, as a response to when you're attacked, and you absolutely have to. Um, I don't intend on arguing with people. Um, I would say that's not my style, but that wouldn't be true. Like I said, red hair. I'm a debater. So maybe I'll debate with them. I do think, though, someone else was down there today, and I do think they're not happy about it. And I told Auditing Scientology when I went down there, I didn't have any signs. I wasn't yelling anything when I went down there and he and I protested outside. I wanted to get the lay of the land and I wanted to let them know. Hey, SoCal, thanks for coming. Um, I wanted to let them know that we're there, that they're not the lucky org that got missed and nobody was paying attention to them. I wanted them to know that we were there and that we were going to be there. And I loved it that someone else was out there today so that they're seeing it's not just the same people down there. Now, I will say when I go down there next time, there'll be signs. Um, and I'll start asking questions of people when they come out. But they know we're there, um, and I'm hoping they're going to see that we'll be out there more regularly. Um, Hoping to get more people out there. The weather's starting to get nice here, although we have thunderstorms going on right now and some really nasty lightning. But I plan to be out there more, like I said, and do some deep dives into what they have actually got their tentacles into because it looks like a lot. Um, I'm also going to reach out to our mayor and city council and let them know what Scientology is about and discourage their involvement with them. So I guess I guess that's all I have for tonight. Um, Kind of a boring one because lost to history. But if anybody has any questions, happy to or suggestions. Um, my email is on my page and or on the channel in the description, so you can email me. Happy to talk to anybody that maybe is interested in coming out. And um, until then, if there's no questions, again, I'm brand new to this, like you can tell. First time I've ever gone live, and I had to do it on LRH's birthday. But if you are interested in joining us out there or have suggestions for the channel, please let me know because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, thanks everybody so much for coming out. You made me feel so good. I'm going to go catch up with Aaron and um, everybody in LA while they're out there in Confident Chris rented a van today, and they were going to go out and do some hijinks in a van that looks just like a Scientology van. So it's hysterical. So if um, I will send out notifications when I'm going to go live next, and I hope to kind of make it a regular thing. Um, so again, if you have any suggestions, give me a holler. Uh, Z News, thanks so much for modding for me. You're awesome. I love you. And everybody, again, thanks for coming. It's so much appreciated. See you real soon. All right. Bye, everybody.